Hey there guys, how are you? So Ghost in the Shell, starring the female version of myself. Yep, I just ruined Scarlett Johansson for you. I'm sorry. In the future, a cyber-enhanced soldier named Major kicks ass. Ghost in the Shell is the live-action remake of the 1995 anime film Ghost in the Shell. Now, I've never seen that original 1995 version of Ghost in the Shell. I've heard great things about the movie, and I do want to watch the movie one day. And we'll talk about that in just one second, but first, I wanted to let you guys know that this movie review is brought to you by an app called Quidd, because without them sponsoring this video, I'd probably be making this video in a dumpster behind the movie theater right now. A very nice dumpster, though. Quidd is a free downloadable app on Android or iOS. You can collect awesome emojis and stickers related to TV shows and movies. You can collect, save, and share them with friends on the app by earning coins. And if you want to send me some stuff, you can add me on the app, username FlickPick. And much like real life, I currently don't have any friends, so add me on the app. I'm lonely, help me. Ooh, look, a Ninja Turtle. So go ahead and download the Quidd app, it's completely free. The link to Quidd is down below in the description box, check it out. Alright, so back to Ghost in the Shell. The big question is, how similar is the live action version to the anime version? More or less, they're both pretty similar when it comes to the major plot points of both movies. I went into this movie with no preconceived notions, no expectations. I just wanted to see a really cool, entertaining movie with Scarlett Johansson doing flips. And did I get those things? I got to see Scarlett Johansson doing some flips. Without a doubt, the best aspect of Ghost in the Shell are the visuals. When it comes to the overall visual vibe in this movie, I love futuristic dystopian settings. The streets are really crowded, there's neon lights and holograms all over the place, and humans are getting robotic upgrades. And talking about all of that, it also reminded me of another futuristic movie that was made in the mid-1990s, The Fifth Element, starring Bruce Willis. Introducing Corbin Dallas! That's my Chris Tucker impression. It's shit. And the reason I'm mentioning The Fifth Element is that futuristic design aspect was the best thing about the movie. And it's the best thing about this movie as well. Visually, this movie looks like anime brought to live action. It's beautiful to look at times. It's awesome. It's very cinematic. Now, before I say what I'm about to say, I understand that this live action movie is based on an anime movie from 1995. That's 20-something years ago. I'm not a mathematician. 20-something? Yeah, 21? 22 years ago? That's why I make YouTube videos. And since 1995, we've gotten a lot of great, amazing sci-fi action movies where they've done everything and anything you could ever think of. And a few of those really good movies were inspired by anime, or at least had elements of anime in their live action movies. So here's the point of everything I'm saying. Everything that you see go down in this live action version of Ghost in the Shell has already been done in another live action movie. And as original as that might have been back in 1995, by now, it's a cliche and you've already seen it in other movies that have done it better. From everything I know, this movie is faithful to the source material, but maybe, just maybe, it's a little too faithful. And in all fairness to the people who made this live action movie, I can understand their dilemma. On one hand, they stay faithful to the source material and do exactly what the anime movie did, and on the other hand, they switch things up for the sake of switching them up to make them new and fresh. And either way, you piss people off. Now, as far as the overall concept of this movie, it's nothing really new. You've seen it before in other movies like this right here and this right here. You have a badass character who's used as a weapon, and then they have a self-realization that they're being used by an evil corporation, and they take matters into their own hands to undo all wrong. The name's Murphy. So when it comes to Ghost in the Shell, the visuals are great. They're spectacular to look at. But beyond that, when you talk about characters and story, it feels very hollow. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of substance in this movie. And as far as the pacing of the movie goes, the first hour goes something like this. There's an action shootout scene, and then you have Scarlett Johansson being repaired, hooked up to tubes in a laboratory. Then there's another action shootout scene, and then you have Scarlett Johansson in a laboratory hooked up to tubes. There's another action shootout scene, a few punches are thrown, and then you have Scarlett Johansson in a laboratory hooked up to more tubes. The first hour of the movie goes back and forth just like that. Now, as far as Scarlett Johansson goes, I love Scarlett Johansson. I love looking at her. I buy into her being this badass action hero in movies. But beyond that, I never really connected with her character. I understand that she's essentially playing this robotic, very sterile character. but there's really nothing to latch onto, and that's the same with everyone else in this movie. There's no one that you really care about by the end of the movie. Now let's talk about the villain of the movie, who's the villain for the first half of the movie, and then something else happens. And as far as the villain of the movie goes, he's very dark and mysterious. He's almost like a Sith Lord, but he sounds like a broken, glitched out version of Stephen Hawking's robotic voice.
I communicate with a computer system in a box in the back of my wheelchair. This system was put together for me by David Mason of Cambridge Adaptive Communications.
Here are my final flicking thoughts on Ghost in the Shell. Like I've said 25 times in this movie review, the best thing about this movie are all the visual elements. They look great. But this movie just felt like a collection of scenes put together side by side, and nothing really felt cohesive. Nothing had substance. And when it comes to anime-inspired movies, I enjoy movies like this and movies like this because the characters are compelling. You can latch onto them, you like them, you care about their journey and what's going to happen to them. I didn't feel any of those things with this movie, and I tried so hard to. If you've seen Ghost in the Shell and you love the original 95 anime version, ask yourself this. Pretend like the original anime film never existed, and the new Ghost in the Shell live action movie was a standalone original movie. That's all you knew. If you like this new movie, would you like it as much as you do if the original never existed? I'm going to give Ghost in the Shell, a C. Now some people might consider this the best live action adaptation of any anime film ever made, and from a visual standpoint, I think that's fair to say. But that's also like saying Mortal Kombat is the best video game movie ever made. That's true, but how good of a movie is it really? That's my take on Ghost in the Shell. Here's my question to you guys, and let me know down below. What did you guys think about the movie? Or what is your favorite futuristic movie of all time? And also a big thanks to the Quidd app for sponsoring this video. Like I said, you guys can download the Quidd app completely free down below. The link's down there. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. That way, I can see you next time.